When you hear the word nuclear, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? A massive explosion? Chernobyl? Or war? Most of us grew up with the idea that nuclear equals danger. But on the other hand, nuclear also holds the key to our future, as a source of clean, powerful, and efficient energy. In a world panicking over climate change, rising electricity bills, and shrinking fossil fuels, nuclear power plants, or NPPs, are suddenly becoming the unexpected hero. But how do they actually work? Are they really as safe as people say? And why do some countries embrace nuclear energy while others reject it completely? This video will break it all down in a chill yet thorough way. We'll cover how it works, its history, the pros and cons, and the secret behind how nuclear energy can be so powerful and so scary. Let's start at the beginning. At the core, most power plants, whether coal, gas, or nuclear, work the same way. They heat water into steam to spin a turbine. What's different is how that water is heated. Nuclear power uses heat from a process called nuclear fission. Imagine a uranium atom like a tiny snowball. When we split this snowball, it releases a huge amount of heat energy. This is called fission. Breaking apart heavy atomic nuclei like uranium-235. Each split atom releases more neutrons, which then split more atoms, creating a chain reaction. To stop this from going nuclear bomb style, power plants use control rods that absorb neutrons and slow down the reaction. The result is heat. This heat is used to boil water, produce steam, turn a turbine, and convert mechanical energy into electricity. Just think, turning on a single lamp at home could be powered by a tiny reaction inside an atom's core. Amazing, right? But all of this is still theory. How does it look when built in the real world? Let's go deeper in the next part. A nuclear power plant is made up of several crucial parts. First is the reactor, where the fission reaction happens. Inside the reactor, you have nuclear fuel, usually uranium rods shaped like long cylinders. These rods are placed into the clogged reactor core, arranged in a precise grid. Then there are BUT control rods, often made from neutron-absorbing materials like boron or cadmium. They can be raised or lowered to control the reaction's speed. Surrounding the reactor core is the wide coolant, usually high-pressure water, which carries heat to the steam generator. The steam generator is where the water boils and builds pressure to spin a massive turbine. That turbine is connected to an electric generator, and that's how electricity reaches your home. All of this is enclosed in a containment building, a thick, reinforced shell. Its walls can be up to 2 meters thick and can withstand major impacts, even an airplane crash. Its main job, to make sure no radiation escapes. This whole system has been tested over decades to run safely and efficiently for years. But who actually came up with this idea in the first place? It all started with a brilliant physicist named Enrico Fermi in 1938. He and his team first achieved nuclear fission in a lab setting. But the world truly saw the power of nuclear energy during World War II. Unfortunately, the first use wasn't for electricity. It was for nuclear weapons. After the war, scientists began developing the technology for peaceful use. In 1954, the Soviet Union launched the world's first nuclear power plant, Obninsk. 2 years later, the U.S. followed with Shippingport Atomic Power Station. Since then, hundreds of nuclear plants have been built worldwide. France, for example, now gets more than 70% of its electricity from nuclear, while Germany chose to shut down all of its plants after the Fukushima disaster in Japan in 2011. The story of nuclear is always a tug-of-war between hope and fear. Let's start with the advantages. First, nuclear energy produces zero direct carbon emissions. That makes it way cleaner than coal or gas. Second, the power output is huge and stable. One small fuel rod can power electricity for years. Third, it doesn't depend on the weather, unlike solar or wind. But of course, nuclear isn't perfect. The biggest issue is a radioactive waste. This waste can stay dangerous for thousands of years, and storing it is extremely expensive. Then there's the high upfront cost of building a plant. It can run into billions of dollars. And of course, the risk of accidents. Though rare, when they happen, they're catastrophic, like Chernobyl and Fukushima. That's why many countries are still cautious about going nuclear. Despite the controversy, nuclear technology keeps evolving. Scientists are now working on yet fourth-generation reactors. These are safer, produce less waste, and can even reuse old radioactive material as fuel. There's also an ambitious project, nuclear fusion. Instead of splitting atoms, fusion involves combining them, like what happens in the sun. Fusion is safer and produces far less waste. The ITER project in France is trying to make this a reality. If successful, it could revolutionize global energy. Some startups are even developing mini nuclear plants for remote areas with fully automated systems. Indonesia, for example, has huge potential for nuclear energy, but is still held back by regulations and public fear. One thing's for sure, nuclear isn't just about bombs. It can be a beacon in the global energy crisis, as long as it's managed wisely. And who knows? The electricity you're using to watch this video might someday come from the nuclear energy you choose to believe in today. If you enjoy content like this, hit the subscribe and like button to support the channel, and share this with a friend who needs this kind of insight.